All right, if you're prepping for the Queensland bar exams, you need to listen up. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful pretrial tools you have, non-party disclosure. We're going to break down the key rules, UCPR 242 and 243, so you know exactly how to use this power the right way. Let's get into it. Okay, picture this. It's a classic exam problem, right? You're building your case, and you know there's a killer piece of evidence out there, maybe a crucial email or a financial statement. But here's the catch. It's not held by the other side. It's with a third party, like their bank or an accountant or maybe a former employee. You absolutely need it now. You can't wait for trial to hit them with a subpoena. So, what do? Well, the answer is this process right here, non-party disclosure. This is your go-to mechanism under the UCPR. It lets you compel that third party, that non-party, to produce the specific document you need, and they have to give it directly to you, long before you even think about stepping into a courtroom. It's a huge advantage for getting to the real issues in dispute early. So where does this power actually come from? Well, it's all grounded in Rule 242, and specifically, Subrule 1. This is the rule you need to have tattooed on your brain. It lays out 3 essential conditions, 3 hoops you have to jump through before you can even think about issuing a notice. Let's break them down one by one. Okay, here they are, the 3 absolute must-haves under Rule 242.1. First, under paragraph A, the document has to be directly relevant to an allegation that's actually in issue. Second, under paragraph B, it's got to be in the possession or under the control of the non-party you're targeting. Simple enough. And third, under paragraph C, it has to be a document they could be forced to produce at trial anyway. You've got to satisfy all 3. No exceptions. Now here's a little nugget that examiners love to see you connect. That directly relevant test from Rule 242.1a, it's not some brand new idea. It is the exact same narrow test of relevance from Rule 211 that you already know from party-to-party disclosure. Showing you understand that connection demonstrates you get the underlying logic of the UCPR. It's a high-value point. But hang on, this power isn't a free-for-all. The rules have these crucial safeguards built right in, and they're there to protect non-parties from being dragged into litigation and buried in costs and hassle. Think of these as the guardrails that keep you on the road. And the most important limitation is right here in Rule 242, Sub-Rule 2. This is so important. You absolutely cannot use this procedure if there's another reasonably simple and inexpensive way to get what you need. So for instance, if the document you want from a non-party is something the other side should have anyway, you've got to try getting it from them first. This rule forces you to take the path of least resistance and, more importantly, the path of least burden on others. So it all comes down to how you ask. Your notice can't be some vague fishing expedition. You can't just ask a bank for all documents related to the defendant. That's completely improper because you're forcing the non-party to do your job, to go read the pleadings and try to figure out what's relevant. No, your request has to be targeted, specific, and aimed at identifiable documents. And this is the money quote. This is the judicial analogy that says it all. You are a spearfisher, not a dragnetter. You have to aim for a specific fish, a specific document. You can't just throw out a giant net and hope you catch something useful. Honestly, if you remember one thing about drafting news notices, remember this. Getting this wrong is the fastest way to have your notice thrown out. Now, there are a couple of other practical limits baked into the rule. First, Rule 242 Subrule 4 says this is a one-time thing. Unlike disclosure between parties, the non-party doesn't have an ongoing duty to hand over documents they get later on. It's a snapshot in time. Second, Rule 242 Subrule 3 sets the timeline. They have 14 days to comply. But, and this is important, they cannot produce the documents in the first 7 days. That week-long pause is there to give other parties a chance to object. You know, to really master these rules, it helps to understand the why behind them. This procedure has actually changed a lot over the years, and its history shows you the careful balancing act the UCPR is trying to pull off. Understanding that context can really add depth to an exam answer. So way back, before 1993, you had to make a full-blown court application. It was slow, it was expensive. Then from 93, they brought in a new system where the court registry could issue a writ without a hearing. It was way faster, but it was wide open to abuse. The modern UCPR system we have now tries to find that perfect middle ground. It's streamlined, so you don't need a court application up front, but it has all those procedural safeguards we've been talking about to protect non-parties. Okay, so if Rule 242 is the what gives you the power, then Rule 243 is the how. It's the strict procedure you have to follow. And let me be clear, getting this wrong is just not an option. One slip up on the formalities in Rule 243 and your notice can be completely invalid. All right, this is your non-negotiable checklist straight out of Rule 243, Subrule 1. Let's lock these in. Paragraph A, it has to be issued just like a claim. Paragraph B, it must state the specific allegation and issue. Paragraph C, it needs that crucial solicitor's certificate saying there's no simpler way. Paragraph D, it must be on the approved Form 21. And finally, paragraph E, you've got to serve it like a claim, and you've only got 3 months to do it. And here we go. This is absolute exam gold from the case of Deeprav v. Hanna. Pay very close attention to Rule 243 1b. You cannot just say, see paragraph 12 of the statement of claim. You have to spell out the allegation right there in the notice itself. Why? Because you can't burden the non-party with the job of digging through your pleadings. That's your job. Here's another one of those small details that can trip people up. That solicitor certificate from Rule 243 1c, that's a personal certification. The solicitor is putting their own professional integrity on the line. Because of that, the court registries expect the solicitor to sign it in their own name, not just with the law firm's stamp. It's a small thing, but getting the details right is everything. Lastly, let's talk about the order of service. This is dictated by Rule 243, Subrule 2, and it is a strict 2-step process. Step 1, you must serve every other party in the lawsuit first. Step 2, then, and only then, can you serve the non-party. This whole procedure is designed to give everyone else notice and that 7-day window to object before the non-party even has to lift a finger. So what's the big picture here? What's the key takeaway? It's this. Non-party disclosure is an incredibly powerful tool, but it's not a right. It's a privilege, and it's governed by this careful balance. You have to master both sides of the coin, the substantive power you get from Rule 242 and the strict protective procedure demanded by Rule 243. So now you have the framework. You know the power, you know the limits, and you know the procedure. The final question really is for you. The next time you sit down to draft one of these notices, is it going to be a well-aimed spear, or is it going to be an improper dragnet? Because the difference is everything.